My dear, I ignored you to teach you a lesson. Now the silence feels like 1,000 regrets. Ignoring you was my way of showing you the weight of my love, but now it's too late. I pushed you away, hoping you'd chase me, but instead you fell into the arms of my absence. In ignoring you, I thought you'd learn to value me, yet all I did was lose myself. I ignored you, but every moment without you feels like the lesson I'll never stop learning. Ignoring you wasn't revenge. It was a desperate plea for you to understand the depth of my feelings. I thought ignoring you would change things, but all it did was tear us apart quietly. I thought silence would make you see me, but it only made me disappear in your world. Ignoring you, I lost track of the love that was quietly slipping away. Sometimes you have to ignore someone to let them realize what they've lost. But I didn't anticipate the cost. I ignored you to teach you a lesson, but I'm the one who learned the hardest. Ignoring you wasn't just a lesson for you, but a painful one for me too. I thought silence would wake you up, but instead it buried our love deeper. You never realized my silence was my way of loving you from afar. Ignoring you was my final cry, but you never heard it. I ignored you, not out of hatred, but out of heartbreak. Every time I ignored you, it was a piece of my soul breaking away. I hoped you'd notice the absence, but now I can't find the strength to speak again. I thought ignoring you would heal me, but it only hollowed me out. In ignoring you, I thought I was teaching you, but I was only teaching myself to let go. Silence was supposed to heal us, but it only left scars. I ignored you to show you how much I cared, but now I wonder if I ever mattered. Ignoring you was my way of holding on, but you slipped away anyway. Sometimes I wish I never ignored you, but then I wouldn't have learned what I truly needed. I ignored you, thinking you'd chase me, but you only faded into the distance. In my silence, I thought you would hear me more clearly, but all you heard was my absence. Ignoring you made me realize how much of me was tied to you and how much I lost. I ignored you, but now I can't forget the echo of my own absence. Silence became my teacher, but it never prepared me for the lesson. I ignored you because I needed space, but now I'm drowning in regret. I hoped my silence would make you understand, but it only made me question everything. Ignoring you was the cruelest kindness I could offer myself. I ignored you because I thought you'd come back, but all that came was more pain. My silence wasn't a punishment. It was a prayer for your understanding. I ignored you, and in return, I was left with only echoes of what could have been. Ignoring you was my cry for help, but you never heard it. Every time I ignored you, I was trying to heal, but I only bled more. I ignored you to protect myself. But now I realize I've lost us both. Ignoring you wasn't strength, it was fear disguised as distance. I thought I could teach you with silence, but I was the one who learned a painful truth. Ignoring you was a lesson I needed, but I never expected the pain it would bring. In my silence, I learned how much I needed you. But now it's too late. I thought ignoring you would make you miss me, but it only made me miss you more. I ignored you, but all I found was the cold emptiness of my own pride. Silence isn't a lesson, it's a broken heart in disguise. I ignored you to teach you, but the only lesson I learned was how far we had fallen. My silence wasn't to hurt you, it was my way of loving you from a distance. I ignored you because I was afraid of facing the truth. You were slipping away. In ignoring you, I thought I could stop the inevitable, but all I did was speed it up. I thought ignoring you would make you realize my worth, but all I did was teach you how to forget. Ignoring you was my defense, but it only built a wall between us. Every moment of silence was a reminder that I lost the courage to speak. I ignored you, but it was me who needed the lesson most. In my silence, I thought I was protecting us, but I was only sealing our fate. I ignored you to teach you patience, but I only learned how quickly love can fade. Silence doesn't heal, it only amplifies the questions left unanswered. I ignored you to let you grow, but in doing so, I let us both wither. I thought ignoring you would bring clarity, but it only brought confusion. In ignoring you, I thought I was letting go, but I was only holding on in a different way. Silence was supposed to create space for us, but instead, it created an abyss. I ignored you because I was afraid of losing myself in you, but I lost myself anyway. Every time I ignored you, I felt a part of me disappear. Ignoring you was my way of pushing you to change, but I ended up changing instead. I ignored you, thinking it would heal me, but all it did was break me further. My silence was meant to teach you, but it only taught me the price of love. I thought ignoring you would make you realize what you had. Now I see it was already too late. Ignoring you didn't bring peace. It brought more chaos than I could ever anticipate. I ignored you, but I never realized how much of me was tied to you. I thought silence would make you listen, but it only made you leave. Ignoring you was a decision I thought I could control, but it controlled me instead. I ignored you to make you feel what I felt, but now all I feel is emptiness. Ignoring you felt like the right choice, but it turned out to be my biggest mistake. Silence was my only weapon, but I didn't realize it would turn into my greatest regret. I thought ignoring you would change you, but it only changed me. Ignoring you wasn't punishment. It was my way of trying to protect myself. I thought silence would make me stronger, but instead, it shattered me. Ignoring you wasn't about teaching you. It was about me teaching myself how to survive. I ignored you to make you see me, but all I did was disappear. Silence was my cry for help, but you couldn't hear it. If this touched your soul, don't scroll, like, comment your favorite quote, and subscribe for more. Ignoring you was my way of protecting my heart, but now it's broken in silence. I ignored you to see if you'd care, but instead, I only learned how much I feared losing you. In my silence, I waited for you to realize, but you never did. I ignored you, but I never expected the emptiness it would bring. Ignoring you felt like the only choice, but now I'm drowning in the consequences. I ignored you because I thought I needed space, but I only ended up losing myself. Silence doesn't heal, it just leaves you wondering if you've been forgotten. Ignoring you was my last attempt at saving us, but it was already too late. I thought ignoring you would change your heart, but instead, it changed mine. I ignored you to test your love, but all I did was break my own heart. Ignoring you was my way of saying goodbye without the courage to speak it. Silence became my language, but all it spoke was pain. I ignored you to see if you'd fight for me, but all I saw was the space between us. In ignoring you, I thought I'd find clarity, but all I found was confusion. I ignored you, but now I realize the only lesson I taught was how to let go. Ignoring you wasn't strength, it was the fear of being vulnerable. I ignored you, thinking I'd find peace, but now all I have is this aching void. Silence can't fix what love has broken. Ignoring you was my way of hiding from the truth. I've lost you forever. In my silence, I thought I was teaching you, but I was really teaching myself how to let go. Ignoring you was my attempt at gaining control, but it only left me powerless. I ignored you to protect myself, but I only ended up shattering my own heart. In my silence, I thought I was healing, but instead, I was slowly dying inside. Ignoring you was my last desperate attempt to make you care, but it pushed you further away. Silence was my defense, but I didn't realize it was a prison I built for myself. I ignored you, thinking it would make you fight for me, but instead, I lost everything. Ignoring you didn't bring me strength. It just revealed how much I feared being vulnerable. In ignoring you, I thought I could move on, but all I did was leave myself behind. I thought silence would teach you something, but all it taught me was how quickly love can fade. Ignoring you was my way of dealing with my hurt, but it only deepened the wound. I thought ignoring you would give me space to think, but all it did was make me miss you more. Silence wasn't a solution. It was a delay in facing the truth I was too afraid to accept. I ignored you to teach you a lesson, but now I see it was me who needed to learn. Ignoring you was my way of hiding my pain, but all it did was amplify it. I thought silence would be the cure, but it only created a void that nothing could fill. Ignoring you made me feel in control, but it only led me into the chaos of regret. I ignored you because I thought you'd chase me, but now I see it was me who ran away. In ignoring you, I was trying to escape, but I only ran further into my own heartache. I ignored you, thinking it would make me stronger, but it only broke me more. Ignoring you was a choice I thought would bring clarity, but it only brought confusion. Silence became my comfort, but now it's my deepest sorrow. I ignored you to protect my heart, but now I realize it was my heart I should have protected. Ignoring you felt like my only choice, but now I see I've lost everything that mattered. I thought ignoring you would make me feel powerful, but instead, I just felt empty. Silence wasn't a strategy. It was my way of hiding from the truth I couldn't face. Ignoring you didn't fix anything. It only made the wounds deeper.